Thank you for coming to today's session. It's the second session where we will be learning to interpret a contour plan using a simple cross-section. Now, we need to do a little bit of housekeeping first. The first thing we need to do is get your verbal permission that it is okay to be on a video. So Tracy, is it okay to be video?
I'm fine with that.
Michael?
Yes.
Great, thank you. The second thing we need to do is just be aware of our surroundings and make sure we're safe. I've done a quick sweep of the room to make sure we are, but it's also your responsibility to do the same. The third thing we need to do is our emergency evacuation plan, which is that we'll go through the door, we'll turn right and go out the front door, and then we'll head up to the cul-de-sac where we will assemble.
Got it.
Okay. So today's structure will be, we will look at the purpose and structure of a contour plan through a video, and then we will learn how to draw a simple cross-section from a contour plan.
Okay.
And so our learning objectives are to simply draw this cross-section from a contour plan. Who knows what this is?
It's a rock.
It's very good. It's Uluru.
Uluru, yes.
And so, have you been there before, either of you?
I have been there.
Yes.
Walked around
Yes.
Yes. So, Michael, how would you describe the terrain of Uluru?
Well, surrounding it's flat desert, but the actual rock itself is steep, but flat along the
Flattens
top.
on top. Yeah, that's right, exactly. And you can tell that quite easily through an image, can't you, or a photograph? You can tell that it's quite steep and then flattens on top. But how would you describe this 3D terrain in a 2D format that is universally recognised?
A rock on the earth.
Well, you'd actually do it.
Contour.
Yeah, you do it with contour plans or topographic maps. So what we're going to do is look at a quick video about contours. It's by Steve Backshaw, and he looks at contour plans in real world terrain, so it's quite useful. So I'll just play. It's coming on. Here it goes.
When you're out and about, it's really useful to get a sense of the shape and height of the surrounding landscape. And on an OS map, you do that using contour lines. These are the faint reddish-brown lines you can see running across here. And eventually, you come to a number. That'll give you the height above sea level of that particular line. And that line is running between interconnected points of the same height. The difference in between contour lines is going to be 5 meters or 10 meters, and you can tell that by looking at the legend on your map. Here, on a shallow slope, the contour lines will be far apart. When you visit somewhere like this, the contour lines are much closer together to show a much steeper slope. With a bit of practice, you can look at a two-dimensional map like this and start to get in your head a complete three-dimensional picture of what the landscape looks like, and that's a really important tool in navigation.
So what Steve says is quite true. Once you've had a lot of experience, it's easy to read a contour plan such as that one. But if you haven't had experience reading a contour plan, it can be quite difficult to interpret the terrain. So that's what we're doing today. We're going to learn how to interpret the terrain through a simple cross-section. So does anyone need any clarification on what the plan is for today? No? Okay, great. I have here step-by-step instructions of how you draw a cross-section through a contour plan. Now you have your contour plans in front of you at the moment, and our aim here is, this is our contour plan, this is our section line, or our section where we're cutting through, and this is our cross-section. So what we're doing is projecting our lines out on a horizontal grid to actually come up with our cross-section. So to do that, I'll ask you to do this first part with me. So if you grab your rulers, and grab some graph paper and just have it ready to go. That's the way. Good stuff. So, all right. Good. Michael, would you mind reading out the steps?
Note the contour interval on the contour plan.
So I've got mine up here. You can see, and it's the same as yours. On this map, our contour interval is 50 meters. So that means that every contour line represents a 50-metre elevation. So Uluru starts at 500 and it goes up in 50-metre increments, this contour plan, till it hits 850 at the very top. What's the next step, Michael?
Draw a section line through the contour plan.
So choose anywhere on Uluru that you'd like to cut in half, discover the terrain.
That could be fun.
And so that's our section line. Very good, very good. Okay, we're choosing different sections, great. What's the next step, Michael?
Set your graph paper correctly.
Okay, now the trick about graph paper is that it needs to sit above the section line and it needs to be set so that the horizontal grid line is parallel to our little section line. Bless you. Very good, Tracy. Very good, Michael. Okay, what's the next step?
Project each contour that crosses the section line vertically up the graph paper.
Okay, and we're going to do this by starting with the lowest contour line. So in Uluru, like we've said before, 500 is our lowest contour line.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to start with my lowest contour line, which is on the outer edge. And you guys will need to find the same. That's right. So we're going to line our ruler up so it's vertically straight up the page, perfectly perpendicular to our section line. And we're just going to project that contour that crosses the section line up the page, just like that. Yeah, good. Good. And then what we're going to do is find our next contour line where it crosses the section line, and again project it vertically up the page, and we're just going to keep going until we've done about the first incline. So that is up to about 800 meters. That's good. Good. Looks good.
I think I've
You've got that? Good job.
Yeah.
Okay, so what's the next step, Michael?
Start with the lowest contour line and work up the page.
So, okay, so we're going to find, like we said, our lowest contour line, which is 500 meters. So that's where we've started. What's the next step?
Mark up each point with where your drawn vertical line meets the next horizontal graph paper grid line.
Yeah, so that just means where our contours come through, we've projected up. We're going to mark with a cross the first horizontal grid line where that vertical line crosses. Is that okay? Yep.
Yeah.
So then we're going to take our next contour line and we're going to mark with a dot the next horizontal grid line up the page. So one box up. Yep. Good. And then we're going to take our next contour line and mark with a cross the next box up, because we know we're going up.
Mm-hmm.
And then we'll take the next one and do a dot, and then a cross, and then a dot. Just checking back to your contour lines to make sure that they're not the same. So yeah, exactly. If they are the same, they should be on the same horizontal line because that represents a contour line.
Yeah.
So that's really good, Tracy.
And that one goes up.
Good.
And that one's the same.
Great. Excellent. So then all that we have to do is then use our ruler to actually connect our crosses to our dots. That was good. Well done, Michael. Excellent, so that looks
Okay.
really good. So now that I've demonstrated with you how to do these cross sections, I'd like you to finish off the cross section for me using the steps that we've already outlined.
Sneaky little one there.
pretty straight. Vertically up the page, that looks good. Again, this is just indicative. It's not perfectly accurate, but certainly it gives you a really good idea of what the terrain will look like.
Next time I'm going to look at the world with different eyes. Cutting it in half.
Well, maps are universal things, right? So everyone in the world needs to be able to read them, so they have to be consistent across the board, and topographic maps are exactly that. Very good. Nice.
Oh.
Yep, that's right. Then connect the dots.
I probably started mine.
You chose quite a tricky cross section, didn't
Complex.
you? Yeah.
Spot. Wasn't my intention. Anyway.
Very good. Okay, so Michael, your cross section was through the narrower side of Iluru, and that looks pretty good to me. It's steep like we thought and flat on the top. What about you, Trace? So you've gone the long section.
I've gone along.
And that's exactly what it does. That contour wraps around, so it does go flat, and then it goes up a little bit, and then flat and across. So that's perfect. That's really good. So well done. Thank you. All right. So we have successfully achieved our learning outcome, which was to draw a simple cross section through a contour plan. So, like I said, this is really good for navigation, for bushwalking, for trekking. If you don't have the skills to actually look at a contour plan and appreciate what that terrain's telling you, it's a very simple way of actually understanding terrain, is to draw this cross section. So, if we were to do another session, I would take you both out on a bushwalk or a trek or something with a contour plan, and then we would experience in a real world situation what that contour plan feels like on site. So we'd feel how steep it is and how shallow it is and how flat it is. So, and then the last thing I need to do is to just get you guys to fill out an audience evaluation sheet. But I will ask Tracy, is there anything that you think that I could improve on in my presentation, or are there anything there that, if there's any verbal feedback that you have for me, that would be good to give?
No, I think it's all been very clear and helpful and interesting as well.
Oh, thank you. What about you, Michael? Is there anything that I could change or do differently to assist you with learning this work skill?
I don't think so.
No?
No.
Okay. Well, thank you very much.
Thank
That's
you.
great. I'll just go around and turn off the video, which is the red button.